Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Good afternoon from California. And if you're new here, if you're seeing me for the very first time, please introduce yourselves in the comments. What is your name? How did you find today's live stream? Please leave your name and where you're watching from in the comments. And I also want to know where in the world you are tuning in from. Thank you so much for joining in. I see you guys. Thank you. Thank you. So if you're new here, do not forget to introduce yourself. Today we are discussing why you shouldn't doubt yourself. Yes. Do not doubt yourself. Let's overcome how to overcome negative self-doubt or self-talk. And if you're seeing me for the very first time, let me introduce myself while you do the same. My name is Miriam. I'm based here in California. I'm a wife, a mom, a student, an entrepreneur. I'm also a fashion designer. I have great news for you guys. Today's live stream is proudly sponsored by chasiseverything.com, the number one leading 18 karats gold company here in the United States. So if you are new here, do not forget to introduce yourselves. I will leave the link in the description. So for your 18 karats gold earrings, necklaces, rings, if you're getting married for the first time, or if you are renewing your marriage vows, you want to get new ring, you want to upgrade your rings, go to www.chasisejewels.com. Today, it's going to be a very powerful, like conversation this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are watching from. That's why I always ask that, where are you watching from? Because I really, really, really want to hear from you guys. And I want this to be an interactive session with you guys. So I'm going to leave the link in the comments. The link to the website and the comments. So don't forget to introduce yourselves in case you are new here. So now let's go ahead and let's just dissect this, topic, because it's a lot of people actually, are suffering from this thing. And the truth is, self-doubt is not a mental illness. It's not a mental illness. It's actually a normal experience as a human being. It's a normal human experience, and everybody actually faces it at different points in their lives. But when self-doubt becomes too much, when it becomes persistent, when it becomes overwhelming, and when it begins to interfere with your daily life, you feel you're not enough, you feel you're not good enough, you feel, oh, you're the worst. There's some people who are like that. They always think the worst about themselves. Today, let's discuss how to overcome this crazy pattern, this thing called negative self-doubt. And the truth is, it might actually be connected to a deeper mental health challenge, like maybe you have anxiety, or you have depression, or even imposter syndrome. So please note that when you too much of negative self-talk can fuel this cycle. It can reinforce those terrible limiting beliefs that you've allowed to choke your your space. And all of these all this negative self-talk is limiting your own personal growth, is limiting your confidence. You're not even going for opportunities because you've ruled yourself out. And I always say this on my channel, that you should not talk yourself out of your dreams. Do not let people who have given up on their dreams talk you out of your own dreams. Yes, do not let people who have given up on themselves to talk you out of their own dreams. So please be mindful of all of these patterns. When you notice them, when you identify these things, they're actually things that you can do that can actually help you. You see, I have my notes here. So when you actually recognize the difference between normal self-doubts, there are some that are normal, that are like, oh, I beg, you can quickly work on it. But there are some that are really serious. They hold you back. These are things, these ones have actually graduated to depression. Like, it holds you back for weeks, for days. Days turns into weeks, and weeks turns into years, months and years, and you're suffering for years, until it just damages, until maybe God in his infinite mercies will now come and take you out of that depression. So when you recognize that pattern, or you recognize the difference between normal self-doubt and something more serious, it's very, very important. Recognizing both is very important. And when it starts to affect your ability to function, make sure that you seek help. Yes, you have to seek help, because you don't have to navigate it alone. So let me tell you something that most people will not say. The voice in your head might be the reason why you are stuck. That's terrible. That negative Nancy that is always telling you you're not going to see. I've been in situations or have seen people who, they are in situations that are supposed to motivate, encourage, and, elevate them. But guess what? In that same situation where I would consider, oh, this is motivating, this is inspiring. No, that same thing that you feel should motivate you will depress other people. It's strange, and if you discover that pattern, maybe you find out that, maybe somebody shares good news that should encourage you, you're depressed, you're sad, there's an issue. You need to tell yourself, this person sharing their happiness, that it doesn't affect you in any way. It shouldn't, you know what I mean? It shouldn't, they didn't take your own happiness. So celebrate them. Rather than think that, oh, one person is winning, then it means you're losing. No, when someone is winning, it doesn't mean that you're losing. And a lot of people suffer from this, and it's a lot. It's becoming really rampant these days, and that's why I needed to talk about it here on my channel, because people now overthink everything. And it's even possible that some people have had a terrible encounter with someone. You need to heal so that you don't start to project that terrible experience you had on other people, on innocent people. We need to heal as humans. We need to, go down to the roots. Why am I feeling this way? Why? They haven't done anything to you. Why should I? A lot of people, like some people, are even expecting you to be bad towards them, and you haven't done anything. So we need to be mindful, that all of these things don't gravitate into something else. It can lead to mental illness if care is not taken, and if it's not taken care of quickly. Negative self-talk, self-doubt is something that you want to eliminate out of your life as much as possible. I mean, what if I told you that your biggest limitation is not your situation, it is how you talk to yourself? I remember taking a trip, recently, and I was speaking with my mentor, and my mentor was scared. She was scared, I know she meant it in a good way. She was like, "Oh, how are you gonna?" And I'm like, "There's nothing. Like, I have zero fear, zero atom of fear in me." And I took this trip. Hi, Aziz. Thank you so much for. Hi, Sifuni Shaw. Thank you so much for joining. So you need to identify those patterns, and also you need to stop people who would, whose goal, or who are directly or indirectly or ultimately discouraging you. You have to identify them and just quiet that voice. You have to make that voice, you have to drown that voice. That voice cannot be louder than the voice of God in your life. So you have to, notice whenever that is happening in your life. Just take note of it. Do not let it dwell, don't let it sit, because it gets to a point where you start to believe it. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know you're supposed to counter it, if you're a Christian, you counter it with the word of God. You tell yourself, this is what God has promised me, not this. And some people will be seeing, all they see is just, they see, I don't want to call it, all they see, Sha, is negativity, is what they see in everything. They don't even try to see good in any situation. Even when good is in front of them, they choose to see the negative. You have to be mindful with this kind of person. And what is this self-doubt we're talking about? Guys, everyone experiences it. Everyone, even successful people. Yes. And it shows up when you're trying maybe something new, or you're stepping up. And sometimes there's this, I read a lot of books regarding this, and sometimes it could be your brain fighting something that is not normal, something that is new. It sees it as a threat. It's something triggers it, and your brain wants to fight back and reject that new thing, that new good thing, that new great thing that you're about to experience. So you have to be mindful of it. Self-doubt is not actually the problem. It is staying stuck in it that is the problem. When you're beginning to doubt yourself, Francis, you are welcome. I'm glad. I'm glad that this is making a difference for you. So you have to identify that moment, that stupid voice is telling you the negative things that you don't even want to hear. Start prophesying the word of God. If you're a Christian, you can open Psalm 25, Psalm 27, and start to pray, pray about these things and remember what God has done before now in your life and what God can do, or rather what God will do. Because personally, now I'm speaking for myself, I have gone beyond the point of saying, oh, God can do this. No, to the point of God will do it. Trusting God in every situation. And here is the point where self-doubt becomes really dangerous, when it stops you from taking action. Yes, there are some people that they have this negative self-talk, and then they themselves talk themselves out of opportunities. Yes, they talk them. That's when it becomes dangerous. They talk themselves out of going for the interview. They talk themselves out of getting this opportunity. They talk themselves out of going higher, like aiming higher, or wanting more in life. When it begins to affect your daily life, when it begins to affect your decisions and your confidence, it's no longer just self-doubt. It's actually something deeper. It could be mental health problem, and it can lead to anxiety. It can lead to depression and imposter syndrome. And you need to see, imposter syndrome is when something is telling you you're not good enough, or you think it's no, they mistakenly gave it to you. Maybe you got admission, paid the admission, or maybe you got admission to med school, and you keep telling yourself that I don't think I'm worth it. Are you sure? Or maybe you got a big contract, and when you get paid, or you're about to get paid, and you're like, are you sure you really want to pay me this amount? You're talking yourself out of it. You're telling yourself, no, I'm okay with the little. I'm sure you wanted to give it to the next person. This happens even to the best of us all. Yes, even this happens even to some of the most intelligent people. This is something that's, like I said earlier, it's a normal human feeling. It's something, self-doubt is something that, we go through as human beings, so please, it is not weakness. Having self-doubt is not weakness. It's actually something that many people face. It is when you stay stuck in it, like I said earlier, that it becomes a big problem. That's the real enemy, is that voice that says that you're not good enough. It says that, who do you think you are? You're going to fail anyway, even if you try. Like, it's like attempting, and I'm speaking for myself as well, it's like attempting an exam, maybe a professional exam or something. You've done it the first time, second time, third time, and you just feel that the people that have passed this exam, there's no way in the world they are not better than you. That's a big fat lie. That's a big fat lie. Go for it. Go for it. And the interesting thing is, when you hear this voice so often without countering it, if you don't counter it, you start to believe it. That's where the words of affirmation comes in. If you're someone that goes through this all the time, maybe you should grab maybe a what's that, sticky note, and put it, where you see it most of the time during the day, throughout the day. Just write, I am enough. Just write all the positive words, all the positive things that you can think about yourself, and stick it where you find it, and read it aloud to yourself every day. Read it to yourself every day, so that you start to believe. Remember, if you listen to the negative voice every day, you listen to it consistently, you get to a point where you start to believe it. So why not invest in the positivity? Say the positive things and repeat them so many times, multiple times to yourself every day, until you start to believe it. Yes, you have to. I mean, it gets to a point when you have to take the bull by the horn. You cannot just leave things to, to what's it called now. So here is how to break free. Catch that negative thought. Yes, catch it when it's happening. Immediately it's happening, and quickly use the word of God to counter it. Immediately. Don't even let it stay for 1 minute, because somehow you start to believe it. It's like a terrible voice is telling you in your head to do something bad. And that's why the Bible even tells us to flee from all appearance of evil. Flee from all appearance of evil. You don't have to wait for it to, to now sit into your heart and then start to, germinate and start to, do not even let it sink the first time. So you have to counter it the very moment that thought comes into your head. You have to tell yourself that no, 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 I'm made for more. I will go for it. Do not let anyone or anything discourage you from reaching your goals. 1 second. How can I help you?
How is it?
Good. I'm still live streaming.
Okay.
Tulu, so you just have to be intentional about it. And the truth is, self-doubt, in a way, it can be a sign that you're growing. So when you start to doubt yourself, you're like, oh, that one is just a joker. And I do this. Like if anything is trying to stop me, that's when I have wings. That's when I that's when I go for it. Like, okay, this thing you don't want me to do, I will do it. I'm telling you. So please, like I said, catch those negative thoughts and then replace something like I can't do it to I am learning. Yes, I am learning. It's the voice of possibility that actually helps you to move forward. When you think, "Oh, it's possible. I can do it." It makes a whole lot of difference than saying I can't do. I can't is like giving up. It's like defeat. Giving into defeat. It's like self-defeat. And you're already, if you don't believe in yourself, you're already twice defeated in the race of life. Because I mean, if you yourself have given up on yourself, I don't think there's anything anyone externally can do for you. So you have to have that fighting spirit. You have to fight back and say, no, this thing, this particular, no, 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 we're not doing this, and that's one thing. I get more I get more encouraged when I see those patterns. I'm like, oh, you want to try me? It's no, you don't even know who you are dealing with. If you know me so well, you won't even try coming near me. That doubts, that's negative self-talk, that doubts, sorry, sorry, I'm not sorry. And you also need to surround yourself with growth-minded people. You need to surround yourself with growth-minded people. I was in a meeting in December, this December 2025, last December, and I was, we were having a meeting with entrepreneurs. It was late in the evening. It was raining, I remember. And the people, the fellow entrepreneurs were, oh my goodness, the kind of conversations we were having that night was it was mind blowing. Like people were calling numbers like not these are not numbers of companies that they work for or people that they work. It's their own personal. They're calling those numbers, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm telling you. So you need to surround yourself with growth-minded people. There's something I saw somewhere. It says, sit with successful people, the conversation is different. And it's true. The conversation with successful people is different. I was talking to an elderly lady this morning in church, and she said owning a business takes a different level of discipline. It's not even motivation. Motivation can be fleeting. You can be motivated now. In the next 5 minutes, the motivation is gone. But if you're disciplined, that's what she said, that it takes a different level of discipline for you to be an entrepreneur. Yes. So you need to know your strengths and be careful, with the people that you surround yourself. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are way, way, way better than you. If you're someone that easily gets intimidated by people that are better than you, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. You probably need to find a way to talk yourself, into being able to soak it in, take it, absorb it without feeling, thank you, Stepha Enoch. Without feeling intimidated or without feeling, down or feeling like, oh, uh, without feeling inferior. So you have to get used to it, like being in the same room with people that are doing those big numbers, because before you know it, it's going round. It will be your turn. Those things that used to sound like, rocket science that used to sound almost impossible will begin to become possible in your life, because now it is, somehow you soak it in mentally and you absorb it. Once your soul absorbs it and the Lord and God is with you, sweetie, there's nothing impossible for you to accomplish. So you need to overcome that negative talk, that negative voice, negative self-doubt in your life. Like every single time that thought comes, you need to counter it immediately. See, some of you are not lazy. Some of you are just mentally tired. Some of you don't lack potential. Some of you just lack that belief. And that belief, see, when you believe in yourself, hey, like I said, if you don't believe in yourself, you're already twice defeated in the race of, because life itself does not come with, they are not playing. So if you doubt yourself, or if you don't believe in yourself, you're twice defeated, two times. So you have to believe in yourself. And the goal is not only to eliminate self-doubt. I mean, like I said, it's a normal human feeling, but the goal is to stop letting it control your life. I'm telling you, because you're more capable than the voice in your head that is telling you you can't do this. Oh, who are you? Who do you think you are? Do you know, remember where you're coming from? People, who are coming from there, don't do this, don't do that. So you have to, it's up to you to actually ignore or counter those terrible voices in your head, those voices that are telling you that you can't do it, you can't achieve this, you can't be more, you can't go for more, you can't go beyond where you are currently. And you need to also identify the roots. Yes, these are actually powerful solutions that I have for you. Don't just treat the surface. Identify what is something that triggers this thing. Is it past failures? Is it because you failed the last exam, or you failed it 2 times or 3 times? So what? And so I've come to realize that the people behind everything that you do, everywhere you go, whether interviews or exams or whatever it is, they're human beings behind it. They're human beings. They are people like you and I. You might have been a victim of maybe someone having a bad day, and you were the victim on that day. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you less human. It doesn't make you, inferior. So do not let that do you, the world will understand. I'm telling you. So if there's something, maybe your lack of experience, lack, or you're scared of judgment, you know, ask yourself, where is this thought coming from? Anything negative is not coming from God. Trust me. Anything that tells you, that puts you down, that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you you are. Some people, it can be their physical appearance. It could tell, something telling them you're ugly, you're too ugly, you're too this. Hello. Are you seriously serious right now? My friend sent me a picture that we took I think about 15 years ago, if not more. We took the picture 15 years ago, and I looked at my picture, and I was telling her that, or more, the picture, I was looking so funny. I can't even share the picture. But I was like, even in those days, with the way I looked then, I was still so proud of myself. Like, you can't try me. Like, you cannot try me. And you need that dose of confidence in yourself. Yes, you need that serious dose of high level of self-confidence in you. Remember, if you don't believe in yourself, you're already twice defeated in the race of life. So awareness is step one, because you cannot fix what you don't understand. You need to be aware of that. Okay, where is this thought coming from? When does it come? Does it come? What triggers it? Is it past experiences? So when you remember, maybe you failed something or you did something, and then it starts to affect you, you need to now challenge your inner voice, because that negative voice always feels real. It feels real. It feels like it's the truth, but it's not true most times. It's not true. So when you always, maybe something tells you that you're not good enough, respond with, what proof do you actually have that I'm not good enough? Tell me where you saw it, or where can you prove it to me? So train yourself to question your thoughts instead of, just believing them blindly. You can't just believe those empty threats that comes to your head, those negative self-talk that comes into your head every single time. You cannot. And then replace it. Don't just leave it empty. You know? So instead of saying, like I said, instead of saying I can't do it, just say I am still learning. Yes, I'm still, with time I will get there. Just acknowledge your own work in progress. That no, the fact that I can't do it today doesn't mean that I will never be able to do it. There was a boy that shared his how his mother inspired him and his brothers to learn, I think, 7 or 8 different languages, and also pilot a plane at the age of 16. Yes, he was able to fly a plane from the age of 16, and he showed pictures and all that. So all of this, imagine you telling yourself, oh, I can never do this, I can never, then you will never do it if care is not taken. You need to tell yourself, you may not be able to do it now, but you don't even need to say that. You just reply with, oh, I'm a work in progress. It's just a matter of time. I will get there, and you will get there. The moment you start to see possibilities, then it starts to, like I said, you receive it. You're able to receive it, and you're able to work through it. So this is the big one, guys. You need to take action even before you feel ready. Confidence doesn't come first, though. It does not come first. So it is your action that creates confidence. So it's not confidence that creates your action. No, it's your action that creates confidence. Even if you're scared, do it. Even if you are scared, so start that business, apply for that grant, launch that your YouTube channel, or launch your, whatever it is, write that book. Do it scared. Even if no one around believes in you, you are enough. And that's one thing that I'm thankful to God because I don't need anyone to believe in me. As long as I have my God and I believe in myself, I don't need anyone to believe in me. Just, do it twice and take pictures. Yes, that's what I believe in. Do it twice and take pictures, and also build evidence for yourself. Start tracking small wins. Start, when you see that, oh, I actually did that, then I can do a lot more. So build your confidence, or you feed your doubts. You know what I'm saying? So choose, what do you want to do? You cannot just feed your doubts. You can't just, say surrender. Hey, I surrender to this negative. No, you cannot do that. No, you can't. We're not doing that. You know, and that's why you need to surround yourself with positive, growth-minded people. If you don't know who to turn to, who to talk to, you can go to my live streams, the ones I did years ago, 5 years ago. I am not kidding you. Go and watch those videos, binge watch them. Maybe when you're cooking or you're driving or you're at the gym. You need content that actually uplifts you. Yes. So limit exposure to negativity and comparison. Yes. You need to limit the exposure to negativity and comparison, and stop comparing yourself to anyone. Stop comparing yourself to anybody else's meal. Remember that you are seeing their highlight reel. You're not seeing the full picture. You're not seeing, their struggles. You're not seeing what goes on behind the scenes. So you need to focus on your own lane. You need to focus on your pace. You need to focus on your own journey, and give yourself the permission to be a beginner. Give yourself the permission to be a beginner, because a lot of, self-doubt comes from unrealistic expectations. You're starting something today and you expect to blow up today. No, 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 no. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. I mean, it's okay to be new. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to grow publicly. Yes. So please, if your self-doubt is constant, if it's really overwhelming, and if it's affecting your daily life, then you probably need to seek support. And I also have a few things I want to share with you guys today. Just so you need to believe, if you're a Christian, you believe in God, you need to believe that God has done it. You need to believe that God has done it, even when you're not seeing the evidences in front of you, even if you're not seeing the result yet, in quotes. It doesn't mean that God has not done it. He has done it already. It's like someone trusting God, to have a baby. You cannot just have a baby. You could be pregnant already, which is answered prayers, So you need to trust God and believe that God has done it already. And just so you know, God hears. He can hear our thoughts before we say it. God can hear our own thoughts before we actually open our mouth to speak. I tell you, go to Psalm 139, verse 4, and read what it says. So you have to be careful with the things that you even say before you say it. Even remember when Sarah laughed, at the promise that you will have a child at the time of life, that you will have a child, and she laughed. Even when you don't say it, God can hear it before you speak. So be careful with your thoughts. Yes, your thoughts also are very powerful. And you should also, learn to trust God in every situation and do not doubt yourself. I mean, if you have God, you have everything. You have every reason to be thankful because you have God, and God can give you anything you want, everything that you want. But I don't want you to get to the point where you're saying, and God, if you don't do this thing, then I'll not save you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Whether he does it or not, God is still God and is God all by himself. So I want to implore you at this point, if you're battling negative self-talk, you're doubting yourself, you have this, crazy thoughts every single time in your head, call unto God, call God, and trust me, he's there with his arms open wide, waiting for you. The Bible is there. A lot of you have your Bibles, you have never opened it. Yes, I've been there before. I'm not going to say, oh, it can't be me. I've been there before, and I shared that last year, by God's grace, I was able to read the entire Bible for 4 months. I read from August till December, first week in December. So, I mean, I understand, you have the Bible, you have the solution. I saw an inscription yesterday online, I think it was on Instagram, where a lady, she was like, her mind was, she was so confused. She's been stressed out over something. And the Bible was there calling her, ask me, I'm here. God is calling. Ask God everything, whatever it is, that you're going through or that you're trying to sort out, is right there in front of you. So if you have your Bibles, please open to it. Read God's promises for your life. And trust me, God will do it. God will do it. Please don't go and start giving God ultimatum. Don't, no. Remember that God is God all by himself. Whether he does it or not, he is still God all by himself. God knew you before you were born, before you were formed. He knew you. So don't even try to say, I want to test you. Who are you testing? Don't try it. That is the most high God. So I want to implore you today to thank you, Shapeshifter. Thank you so much for joining in. I see you. So you have to trust God in every situation. And I hope that this video has blessed someone today. If this video has blessed you, please like this video and do well to also share with your friends. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care, guys, and God bless you. Bye for now.